Welcome back to State of Decay 2 and the Lion's Share. I'm really lucky that La Coalición is here in my chat because last time I was talking about how I needed to not forget what I was about to do with this character. And thanks to La Coalición, I've been reminded that I was going to head back to the bounty broker and gas up this car in front of him so that he will give me credit for filling up my car. So I'm low enough on gas that I might actually even be able to do it twice while I'm over there. So let's do that. And while we're there, we'll, of course, collect our free G45 burst. Oh, so many zombies. It's like I'm playing in the Nightmare Zone. It's so weird. I am grateful to Zoe McClatchy for the fact that I just heard a screamer scream, and a bloater did not immediately appear in front of my car. So that was wonderful. That probably is exactly what would have happened if not for her work. One thing I should definitely do is turn down my local volume. It won't make a difference to you, but I was actually drowning everything out in my head. My thoughts were unclear. So let me know if you have any audio problems. I believe that I've tuned the audio so that it shouldn't be too overwhelming next to my voice. But on my end, what I hear is completely different from what you hear, and so I needed to make an adjustment there. I don't know why I'm hitting all of these zombies. Like, my car is made out of paper mache. It's a nightmare. Well, not paper mache. My car is made out of fiberglass in Nightmare. It's made out of paper mache in Lethal. So wait, what is actually the best way to get in? Maybe this is actually the route I should have been taking all this time to get to where Cash is. Let's see if that's right.
Ugh, air tastes like blood soup.
There goes another screamer, I think. And again, no bloaters appearing by my car. I appreciate it.
Greetings. Do come in.
So, Anarchy Lad, I'm glad you could join us in the chat. He says that I'm here too, but only for 40 minutes before my sign language course starts. So I don't know where you're from, and so I don't know which sign language you'd be learning. La Coalición is saying that that it would be nice if there was some kind of universal sign language that people could use to just sort of overcome any language barrier. Because sign language is different enough linguistically from...
Blood plague is costly to produce, but Red Talon has experts working to solve that.
Unless you're,
We have more news to share. You'll hear it from me.
Meredith, shush. Unless you're, learning like C sign or something, sign language is different enough from the grammar and structure of spoken language that it seems like you might be able to come up with a sign language that anyone from any language background could learn with equal difficulty. Rather than, because right now, if you're learning another spoken language, how similar that other language is to your native language is a huge determinant of what language you're likely to be able to learn effectively. So yeah, that would be kind of cool. But yeah, as it stands, yeah, each country, each culture, each language group has got their own version of sign language, which, probably does adopt a fair amount from sort of the distinctions made in that language. I don't know enough about it. I learned a little bit of ASL one time, but...
bounties in quite a wide variety indeed.
Okay, let's turn in our G45 burst. And then let's grab the one that's about gas. Which one was that? There we go. Let's grab this one. And then let's go refuel our car. Thank you again, Lucy, for the fact that I could carry 2 in one slot. I guess I didn't need to right then, but still. And let's do it again, even though it's wasteful. All right. So I don't need to keep tracking that one. Let's see, what else can I... A lot of these don't make a lot of sense for me to do right this second. Except this one, Scavenging 12 ammo. There might actually be ammo in some of the plague hearts that remain. Like, see here, this one... These are all meds rucksacks. That one doesn't have anything. Oh, weird. Oh, wait, no, yeah, we already noticed that. Food rucksack. Okay, so there's no ammo rucksacks there, but I have been noticing, like, for instance, here. We've got a comm station we haven't scavenged yet. I think up here we might not have scavenged this spot yet either. Yeah, so we got a few places to get ammo. And I think you get a fairly large amount of ammo in a rucksack. So let's find out where this plague heart is first off. Okay, here's how annoyingly hidden our radio menu is. Every time I want my radio menu, the first thing I do is I hit the back button. Why? It's not here. It's here. But that's how much I struggle to find my own stupid menu. Oh, so locate play card is still on a cooldown. I can't do it until my next session. So, okay, then I'm not going to. Let's spend this session scavenging for ammo. So that's going to start up here, and then we can actually hit up these plague hearts that we never cleared out before. And is there any other ammo spots to grab along the way? Not on this route. Well, I guess, you know what? There might be ammo right there. So let's go there first, and then. Oh, that was multiple ferals, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure if I should expect them to still be chasing me. So I took a second to get out of the car because I've actually been playing a lot of Far Cry 6 lately, and I tried to press the X button to get out of the car. Which is, when you play a lot of games that have different control schemes but do fairly similar actions, it can get kind of annoying. With State of Decay 2, it actually shares so many mechanics with so many different games, but such a wide variety of games, it was kind of a struggle to figure out which buttons should do what. We ended up kind of going with the standards set by a lot of third-person shooters for aiming and firing your gun, and blending that with the assumptions that you make from a game like, say, God of War about where your melee attacks are. With, X for normal swings and Y for special attacks. And those are fairly compatible with each other, with the main problem being where do you reload. So what we chose was the X button for reloading. The X button for reloading. Which is a little tough because it means that when you're using a controller, you can't reload with the X button because that's your melee attack button. And so there's different ways that we could have done that are different that might have been a little friendlier. For instance, if we had put attacking on the right trigger, which is a standard in other games. I think that it was less of a standard at the time that the original State of Decay 1 was created. I think that there's a lot of games that have gone that direction with melee attacks since then. But because we had already set the standard in State of Decay 1, it didn't make a lot of sense for us to vary that in State of Decay 2. That is a way we could have gone, and that would have left the X button open for reloading and other interactions if players wanted it. Oh, this is not going well. Why am I hitting zombies again? That just doesn't make any sense. That's one way we could have gone. Another way is to instead of putting reload on X, we could have put reload on the right bumper, like, say, Gears of War. That's a recognized standard thing. I think there was at least one Halo game that did that as well. And that would have been familiar to a lot of players, but then that would have taken grenade throwing off that button. And there's such a strong precedent for games like Call of Duty and other games in that genre for having grenade throwing be on the right bumper, that putting reload on there seemed like a risk. I mean, God of War has grenades. We have to switch to them like other weapons. You can't just sort of do them on the fly. And so maybe if we had decided that grenades are things you have to switch to and treat like really conscious, thought-out actions rather than treating them like things you can just sort of pop off at a moment's notice, then maybe, we could have put them somewhere else and had reload be there. But it's a complicated set of decisions, and we actually talked through a lot of these options before we settled on the control scheme that we actually have. La Coalition is asking, is there any kind of controller copyright thingy? I think what you're asking is there anything that would prevent me?
I see a bunch of zombies heading our way.
Oh, good.
But there shouldn't be a problem.
Is there anything that would prevent us from adopting the exact same control scheme as another game? No. So design, as a general rule, design cannot be copyrighted or patented or trademarked or anything. Now, what is design versus, say, invention, which can be patented, and versus, say, creative works of art, which can be copyrighted? It's really hard to say.
Trade this to someone.
Defining my own job is actually one of the hardest things. One of the hardest parts of my job is that it's actually really difficult to say what my job is and what sort of where the lines are between what I do as a designer and what other people do. But basically, just sort of figuring out in broad terms how a human should interact with a thing.
Rats in the damn walls.
Like how a thing should look and feel and work in order to be human usable. I think that's kind of where design is, and that could go anything from graphic design, which tries to use design principles to communicate something to someone, to interface design, where you're trying to make it possible for a user to communicate what they want to do to the thing that you're building. And all of that stuff, I don't think that you can copyright. I think that you can patent how something functions.
No way I can fit
And you
this.
can copyright, a story or a turn of phrase or something like that. But I'm pretty sure the realm of design is an area where there is no copyrighting, which is good. I got to say, I want people to imitate State of Decay. I want to see what other creators come up with State of Decay as one of their inspirations. I think that would be really interesting and fascinating. I have no desire to mark out some territory where only we are allowed to make State of Decay type games. Just think of all the games we would lose if, for instance, id Software had been the only people that were allowed to make first-person shooters
Nothing more to see.
in perpetuity after they came up with Doom, or stuff like that.
How's that
Like
go?
how much less interesting would the world of games be if we were allowed to do that? And there are places where companies have sort of skirted the edge of that by trying to patent design ideas as an invention, and I'm pretty opposed to it. I believe that I don't remember exactly which company it was. It might have been Namco. I don't know. Somebody copyrighted the idea or tried to patent the idea of putting a minigame on a loading screen. And so we kept having ideas at former employers of how we could put cool minigames on loading screens. And we kept saying, lawyers kept telling us, no, somebody owns that. You can't do it. And so just think of all the little fun experiences that you didn't get to have because somebody owned minigames on loading screens. And, and I think, right now, I think Warner Brothers feels like they own the idea of the Nemesis system in in the Shadow of War series. And what am I doing here? This is my outpost. Oh, good. I can actually drop some stuff off here. That's great.
You still working on what we talked about?
But yeah, just think of the games we're not getting because somebody owns the Nemesis system, and that means that there is a hard limit on on how you can sort of array the enemies in a game and sort of form relationships and rivalries with them and that sort of thing. There's lots of games that I think could do really interesting stuff with that, except you have to be afraid that Warner Brothers is going to sue you over it. So games get less rich and less fun because of that. And I just think it's execution is a huge part of what makes something successful. And I think that it honestly just kind of shows a lack of faith for a company to say that the only way we can excel at something is if we claim it early and own it and no one else is allowed to enter that sphere. If you feel like that's what you have to do, what you're saying is that you don't really believe in your own ability
No way I can fit this.
to create things and make good products, because you have to use the force of law to stop other people from doing it. Which is a very different thing from, say, copyright. Copyright is about the exact thing you created, people not being allowed to just steal precisely what you did and just profit from it, like that, and deny you sales. That's a very different thing from, like if it was possible for somebody to copyright a genre, for instance, the first person who wrote a YA novel saying, I'm the only one who can write YA novels because I have this idea. How many stories would we have lost if YA novels were owned by only one author? Now, you can't, just copy the Hunger Games verbatim and then put it out there and say, I also wrote the Hunger Games and, make money from that. That would be insane. But you can write your own YA novel that appeals to the same audience and, uses the same tropes and even, has similar structure to the plot. That's all okay. That's the design of a novel. That's not the content. Yeah, so you can copyright content, you can patent inventions, but design has to be something that people can learn from each other, build on each other's shoulders, and make the world better. Okay, so that was a very, very long rant that I just went on, and I have no idea what the chat has said while I was talking to myself. Let me back up here a little bit. I think I feel relatively safe. Let me just get on top of this car and back up with the chat and just catch up with any comments that people made. Oh, Wargunny wants to know if we'll ever be able to dual wield pistols and stuff like that. That would require new animation, which is like we're usually. You'll notice that a lot of the changes we've been making to the game do not involve new animation, and that's because we've arranged our resources because our game already has a fully developed suite of animations that does most of what we need to do, all of what we need to do right now. Oh, zombie threat at home. Do I care how much? I've got a bunch of ammunition. I'll just let him deal with it. Anyway, so we've rearranged our resources, so we don't actually have a full-time animator working on State of Decay 2 right now. And so if we needed an animation for something, we could probably grab somebody short-term, but building an entire feature around a new animation set is probably something we would not do right now. But you know, point taken though. Since you can wield two weapons at once, it does feel like, oh yeah, what if I could dual wield them? Another challenge of that though is the fact that right now we're relying pretty heavily on the fact that each weapon belongs in one specific slot. Like if I had another weapon in my inventory, if I hit the X button to equip it, it already knows where it needs to go. I don't need to pick where it goes. You'll notice that, like for instance, if you've got a mod on a weapon, now that we have two different weapon slots, if you hit equip on the mod, you have to go through an added step to say which weapon you mean, because mods could go on multiple different weapons. That's a little bit of a hang up there. And so if we added the ability to put pistols in both of your slots so that you could dual wield the pistols, we would need to also add a step so that even if you weren't doing that, every single pistol that you tried to put into a slot, you'd have to stop and tell us which slot you wanted to put it into, because pistols would not always be going to the same slot. So I actually kind of like the fact that we don't dual wield, because it means we can actually direct where we can automatically assume that we know where your pistols are going, and we don't have to make you jump through an extra hoop to tell us where the pistol belongs. Let's see here. Yeah, Mr. Beats, you're right that the Nemesis system is an outlier. That most people do not patent game design specifically for the reasons that I cited. It's actually like there isn't really a legal structure for it. You're always like, anytime you try to patent a game design, you're kind of straining the edge of the law, making it do things that it was not really intended to do. Okay, here's a bunch of bad guys who've seen me. I don't know if they can still see me. Okay, now he's in my car. Okay, I didn't want to leave him there. And now, I think those guys were following me in the wrong direction. I think if I double back this way. I think that I can avoid getting into too much trouble. Let's see here. So, Kyosahos asks, so what's the difference between the Nemesis and the design components of it from an IP or legal perspective? So, as a non-lawyer, I actually could not tell you how they legally define the boundaries of what's an invention, what's design, what is content that can be copyrighted. I genuinely don't know how those lines are drawn in legal terms, and so I couldn't give you any kind of detailed perspective on exactly what the Nemesis system is doing, how it is making the claim that it is unique enough among things that you attempt to copyright that it can actually sort of like bend the usual standards.
That went way better than I expected.
So I genuinely couldn't tell you the answer to that, but all I know is sort of just, I mean, it is a nebulous line. I mean, when you're talking about, you know, how to solve code problems, for instance, like at what point are you engineering something and inventing something new, a new kind of software that you know can be patented, and when are you just using, you know, oh crap, building something that's you know, to what degree is code content that's part of that exists as part of a larger invention, but each individual instance of it is copyrightable, because I believe you can copyright code, because it is written language effectively. And if somebody just copies the exact code that you used without your permission, that you created without your permission, I'm pretty sure that I think you can sue for plagiarism in that case. I think. Again, I am not a lawyer. There's a lot I don't know about it. I've just got a vague sense of how this stuff works. So I'm sorry I can't give you a more satisfying answer, because there's just so many limits to my knowledge. Right. Oh my gosh! Let's see here. I fell way behind. Death Crow, I'm not going to answer that question about where people are. Coalition, I'm actually a little nervous about, like, one thing we do try to do is give fewer specific answers about exactly who is and is not on our team. The reason I answered that one about animation is just because we have to. People ask those kinds of questions a lot, and they really, you know, a lot of times I want to give people really solid answers on why things are the way they are, and so I feel like, you know, I need to be cautious about exactly what I say, just because, you know, there's definitely, you know, implications, like probably sometimes some negative implications to revealing too many details about how our operation works. But in this particular case, I felt like, you know, I mean, we field so many questions about when are you know, can you add this, can you add that? And a lot of the time, the answer really is, well, that would require animation, and we've got other jobs for our animators to be doing right now. So I hope I haven't revealed too much there, but I definitely, I am feeling a little bit cautious about, you know, you wanting to clip that and publicize it more widely, just because I'm like, I mean, it's, you know, it is an honest answer, and I think it's a useful piece of information to know. I don't know if that actually should go extremely broad.
Is there anyone on the line? I need help.
It's not like it's a big giant secret or anything, but it's just like, anyway, it probably is kind of an interesting view into how game development works. It's so much of the decisions that you make have something to have to do with your staff, like, you know, just what experts you have in things. Because a lot of times, you know, like what solution you choose to a problem depends very heavily on just who you have available to solve the problem. And a lot of times, you know, there could be, you know, several different solutions. You know, one is animation heavy, one is UI heavy, one is, you know, like mission heavy, ways to solve some particular problem. And you end up choosing the one not based on, you know, having made some elaborate evaluation of what is the best thing for the game. Oftentimes, you know, there could be multiple different answers that are all equally good for the game, and that's not really the question. The question is often, well, who's available to solve this problem right now? And that will end up being the thing that determines, oh great, now we're on fire. That will end up being the thing that determines what actually happens in the game. So, you know, the game will sometimes not actually be sort of this, like, somebody just in a vacuum came up with the perfect way for the game to work and then devoted whatever resources were necessary to make that exact vision happen. A lot of the time, you shape your vision based on the resources that you have, and based on, you know, who you have available on the team, and what they're good at, and what they're experienced in. You know, when we talked about, you know, what Undead Labs might do in the future after State of Decay, a huge part of that, you know, and after State of Decay is a long way in the future still. I'm not revealing that we're doing anything weird. We're still very, very focused on State of Decay. But
Found everything I'm gonna find.
you know, sometimes we you know, explore idle fancies about what we might do in the far future. And the first part of that discussion is, well, what are we good at? You know, what makes State of Decay special? What makes us special as a studio? And that should inform what we do next, much more than just any, like, arbitrary good idea we might have.
I grew up in a place called Trumbull Valley.
Okay, so
The valley has seen tough times like everywhere else.
my car is in such bad shape.
Bouncing back thanks to the strong folks who live there. If you're looking for a good place with good people, you should find your way to Trumbull Valley.
I'm very nervous about anything I might do with this car before I get it home. I mean, I am kind of expecting to run this car into the ground and to replace it, but can I afford to spend much more time out here
Not really what I was hoping for.
scavenging for different things? Or should I just head home as soon as I possibly can? Well, we're gonna have plenty of meds.
That's a lot of stuff.
I kind of don't want to come back here again, so let's see. Oh, I didn't realize I picked up a toolkit. Yes. Really? Okay, fine. Okay, man, I fell way behind. Sorry. Whenever I scroll up the chat to try to catch up with old stuff, it's easy to forget that means that the chat will stop scrolling and I'll fall way behind. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm a little less nervous now. So maybe I've got a full inventory. Let's take it back to my outpost. And then, yeah, we'll just get the very last couple things out of that Plague Heart, and then we'll be good. We'll head home. Because I actually need to end this session pretty soon. I want to do 2 sessions today, but I also need to pick my son up at a particular time. And so I can't just sort of, you know, dilly-dally around. I got to really be serious about sticking to my schedule. So don't want to leave a kid abandoned at an elementary school. That's not cool. It's not exactly Father of the Year stuff. All right. What did I put back here? I think I've got plenty of gas, so I'm just going to not bother to try to carry extra gas. We are going to head home soon in a second anyway. And then once I get home, maybe we'll chat a little bit more. I'll try to keep up with the chat again, and we'll chat a little bit more. Sunny Games, you are free to speculate about what's going into State of Decay 3. I have been enjoying the fact that you are, reading so much into every job posting that we do. But those job postings, they say exactly as much as we're willing to say, and everything else, you're free to speculate. But there's no way I'm going to try to answer those questions.
We're under siege. You guys got any reinforcements?
Sounds like somebody's in trouble.
All right, I think I might be caught up on our plague husks. Any more husks? Nope, I think that was our last one. Nice. All right, well, let's just grab a few more things here. Yay, snacks. You know I love snacks. Wait, what's in here?
Hey, y'all. It's time for us to move on. We're gonna miss you. Take care of yourself.
Good. One more enclave gone. I want this entire territory to myself. Oh, Deathcrow, it's fine. I wasn't like offended by you bringing up State of Decay 3.
Everything seems calm here.
I just, because it's, a game that's barely announced and almost nothing is revealed about it.
I got nothing.
But there's a lot of hunger for knowledge about it. It makes me feel extra cautious about talking about it because I don't want to provide fuel for rampant speculation that people treat as real and then hold us to at some later time, or leads to any kind of resentment or bad feelings. Like it just feels like there's a lot of things that could go wrong from me saying something out of turn about State of Decay, and so I try to be cautious about it. Now and then I let something slip that oh, here's a new place. I don't really have time for this though. We are, what? Maybe I'm not actually going to go home at the end of this session. Maybe I'm going to go to this last site, and it'll be time for me to start a new one. Because I'm pretty sure in just a second, if not already, we're going to have access to that Plague Heart finding radio command. Oh, this is not where this is. It's the next entry down. Ah, no, stop it. I gotta stop hitting zombies so much. But yeah, so I just try to be cautious, just because the thing is, I just don't always know what could go wrong with me talking about State of Decay 3, or me talking, but too much detail about how things work in Undead Labs. Like, anything like that, like, I feel like this vague sense that I could end up regretting it. And I don't know exactly what could go wrong from me revealing, that State of Decay 2
Well, I guess Christmas just came early.
has limited access to animation, or that, leaving, whatever hints about ideas we're thinking of that might, fit into the future of the franchise. Whenever I make comments like that, I don't have a specific thing I'm worried about. Like, oh no, this is the exact thing that's going to go wrong if I say too much. But rather, I need to stop searching. I need to stop. Yeah, okay. I'll get away. Here, I'm gonna use some energy drink. Just so that I'm using it and it's gone. Anyway, yeah, I don't have a specific consequence I'm afraid of. It's just more like, you never know what could go wrong on the internet. And so you just try to be preemptively cautious. Again, why am I looking in containers? I'm trying to clear out a plague husk. That's what I'm here to do. I've just got this habit of opening every container I see.
Serious trouble here.
All right, so I don't need all of these things.
No room for that.
I got no room for anything. Okay, well, actually, you know what? I could replace this bed outpost. This is outpost number 2. I don't think I even need. Yeah, I don't even need that outpost at all. Let's just make a new outpost here. All right. So yeah, let's just make this an outpost, and then we can drop off all of our stuff and get everything we want. If I can find the claim table. The heck is the claim table? There it is. All right. Site not secure. Oh, I needed to look in this closet. Okay, and I need to look in this room. Cool. Wait, sorry. Also the pantry. Laundry room in this one. Okay, cool. Oh, some zombie. Dang it! You're stopping me from doing the thing I want to do, you jerk zombie. All right. Are we good? Yes, we can claim it.
Okay, the outpost is secure and ready to go.
Yeah, so the new Outpost interface is another example of a place where we added a feature, but because we added the feature, it actually made the game a little bit less convenient. Now, you can't just walk up to your supply locker at an outpost and use it instantaneously. Like, you have to decide, am I messing with the outpost like a facility, or am I accessing my supply locker? And it's not like the hugest inconvenience in the world, but that stuff adds up after a while, And so if we added every single feature like dual wielding that people asked for, eventually the game would become so cumbersome nobody would want to play it. And so game design is often a process of subtraction. It's, you have all of the... Oh, wait, what am I doing? You have all of the huge ideas you could potentially pursue, but you're not going to do all of them because nobody actually wants the game that has every feature. They want to have a game that has a carefully selected set of features that are, that are mutually complementary and that support a fantasy that they're interested in. And that's it. You don't want the game to be so complicated that playing it is a giant headache. That's what real life is for. Real life is to be a giant annoying headache. Games are supposed to be simple and slick and fun, or at least, as simple, slick, and fun as you're looking for. And oftentimes, yeah.
No reason to keep searching here.
There's a certain amount of features that if you tried to load the game with all of them, nobody would want to play. All right, so I think we can just drop this stuff off here and then head home. Or even, actually, maybe we could just switch characters while we're here. That might be the better idea. So let's actually, since we're fairly safe right now, and it has been a little more than half an hour since I started streaming, and I'm going to run out of time if I go too long, let's stop it here. So I'm going to catch up with the chat between sessions and answer any really important questions in the next episode that I think are important to do. But in the meantime, if you want to subscribe to my channel, I'm going to stick a button there on YouTube. The next session that I do is going to start there, so just go ahead and click that if you want to keep going. And yeah, thank you for being here.